Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dvaraka, text number 20. Anyonyam asit sanjalpa Uttama shloka chetasam Kauravendra purastrinam Sarvashruti manohara Anyonyam asit sanjalpa Uttama shloka chetasam Kauravendra purastrinam Sarvashruti manohara Anyonyam asit sanjalpa Tasam Anyonyam asit sanjalpa Loka cetasa Ravendra purastrinam Sarvashruti manohara Anyonyam asit sanjalpa Uttama shloka cetasa Kauravendra purastrina Sarvashruti manohara Anyonyam among each other. It's behind. Asit, there was Sanjalpa, talking, Uttama Shloka, the Supreme who is praised by selected poetry, Chetasam, of those whose hearts are absorbed in that way. Kaurava Indra, the king of the Kurus. Pura, capital. Strinam, all the ladies. Sarva, all. Shruti, the Vedas. Manahara, attractive to the mind. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Absorbed in the thought of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in select poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk of Him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that in all the Vedic literatures, the goal is the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. Factually, the glories of the Lord are depicted in such literature as the Vedas, Ramayana, and Mahabharata. And in the Bhagavatam, they are specifically mentioned in respect to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, while the ladies on the tops of the houses in the capital of the kings of the Kuru dynasty were talking about the Lord, their talk was more pleasing than the Vedic hymns. Anything sung in the praise of the Lord is Shruti mantra. There are songs of Narottam Das of Thakura Narottam Das, one of the acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, composed in simple Bengali language. But Thakura Vishwanatha Chakravarti, another very learned acharya of the same Sampradaya, has approved the songs by Thakura Narottam Das to be as good as Vedic mantras. And this is so because of the subject matter. The language is immaterial, but the subject matter is important. The ladies, who were all absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord, developed the consciousness of Vedic wisdom by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, although such ladies might not have been very learned scholars in Sanskrit or otherwise, still, whatever they spoke was more attractive than the Vedic hymns. The Vedic hymns in the Upanishads are sometimes indirectly directed to the Supreme Lord, but the talks of the ladies were directly spoken of the Lord, and thus they were more pleasing to the heart. The ladies' talks appear to be more valuable than the learned Brahmana's benediction. Ladies ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Praladananda Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Adeshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the point here is that the best thing to do according to the Vedas is to hear and talk about Krishna. And these ladies are given as example. They don't know too much from the Vedas. But actually, if you read the next, I was just scrolling through next verse. Scrolling now, even with books we say scrolling. I was just scrolling through the next verses, and you see that they know something. They're not completely. We have no idea what's going on. They know something. They were living in the palace. They heard about Krishna. They know some philosophy. As a side dish, I want to say this a bit later. There's usually the Kanishta Adhikari has no idea what's going on. So Kanishta Adhikari, he doesn't understand anything, and he doesn't. Sometimes he's able to quote some verses like a parrot, but he doesn't understand what's going on. And very interesting. And then there's the Madhyama Adhikari. And Madhyama Adhikari, he understands what's going on. He understands the philosophy quite well, but it's said that he cannot always quote from the Shastra. He says something he knows it's true because he understands very well the philosophy, but maybe he cannot give a reference or too many references. And if there's a debate, maybe he will not be so strong in the debate. It's not that he will be convinced of something other than the real philosophy, but he will maybe not quote very well. He will not be able to put arguments on the table. Okay, here in the Shastra it says this. And the Uttama Adhikari, he knows very well the philosophy, and he can always give Shastric references. So the point is that we should at least become a Madhyama Adhikari. Maybe we cannot defeat someone in Shastric battle, to pull all the verses and so on, but we should understand the philosophy well enough that we can, know what's what. So, I don't know, I mean, all these ladies are pure devotees probably, but they are acting more or less like simple people. Okay, we know the philosophy. Like just next verse. They say, here he is, the original personality of Godhead, as we definitely remember him, he alone existed before the manifested creation of the models of nature, and in him only, because of the Supreme Lord, all living beings merge as if sleeping at night, their energy suspended. So they know something. It's not they just were they had no idea what's going on. But somehow their qualification is that they like to talk about Krishna. And they are naturally attracted to Krishna. They don't have to be told. And the counterexample is the Yagika Brahmanas. There is this chapter before in Bhagavatam 10th canto, before Govardhan Puja. It's this. And there's this Yagic Brahmanas. So they are Brahmanas. They live in Vrindavan, somewhere around Vrindavan, somewhere there. I don't know exactly where. And they do yagyas. And what's the purpose of the yagya? They say yagya vai Vishnu. The purpose of yagya is to please Krishna, Vishnu. So they do yagya there. And it just happens that in that day, the cowherd boys are feeling hungry. Little hungry. Like we are sometimes. And they go to Krishna and says, Krishna, you killed this demon, but the demon of hunger is very hard to tolerate for us. So, so can you do something about it? So Krishna says, yeah, actually there's some brahmanas here, they do some yagya. And in yagya, you always have to have some offering, something to offer. So probably there's some good stuff. So just go to them and beg something from them. Tell them that Krishna and Balaram are around and they are hungry, and beg something from them. And because Krishna knows very well the mentality of these brahmanas, that they know they do the rituals, but they don't understand anything what they are doing. Very, very scholarly people. They know all the Vedas, they know all the Shastras, but they have no idea what they are doing. What are we trying to do? I don't know. Just chant this mantra. And they know all the mantras. So Krishna knows their mentality. He knows they have no idea what's going on, and so he says. Okay, they will think that I'm a Vaishya, so better ask in the name of Balaram, because he's a Kshatriya at least, so we have some chance. So the cowherd boy goes there, they ask for the Brahmanas, and it's very interesting also in this case, they also give some reference, some Shastric references. So of course we think of the cowherd boys and gopis, they are simple people from Vrindavan, but they know some things, So they say to the Yagic Brahmanas that, okay, you're worshipping Vishnu, and Vishnu is here, and he's hungry. Like you have Panchatattva here, and you make this offering for Panchatattva, and Krishna comes personally and says, hey, can I have some kitri? I'm really hungry. And you say, no, this is kitri for Panchatattva. It's not offered yet. Just wait until it's offered. Probably someone who sees you, they'll say, this guy is a bit off. He has no idea what. So the cowherd boys tell him, yeah, we ask on behalf of Vishnu, Krishna, same. And they also say, this is the proper time during the sacrifice. At this time, if you give some prasadam, it's not contaminated. So they know the Shastra, even these details of Karma Kanda. Their devotees know many things, but it's just they are not interested. It's not that they don't know. They know many things. So they go there and beg from the Brahmanas, and Brahmanas, what do? They come, and then, like in Sankirtan, some people don't even acknowledge you. You go, hello. No. They just pretend that you're not there. So that's what the yogic brahmanas do, you know. They don't even say no, get lost, disappear. No, thank you. No, they just say, or sometimes in Sankirtan they do like. Anyway. So that's what the yogic brahmanas do. So the boys come back disappointed. It's like, hey, you know, we went there on behalf of Krishna, went for Sankirtan, and we didn't collect anything today. Tough day. So Krishna says, no problem. Okay, they didn't give anything. You go to their wives. No, the wives were preparing food for the... So the boys went there. And the wives, what did they do? They said, Krishna and Balaram are here, and we want something for them. So they didn't just give them. They took everything they had as food, and they started running to, okay, let's feed Krishna and Balaram. And so that's a difference of mentality. You know, some people understand exactly what's the idea. They are very, they like to talk about Krishna, they like to serve Krishna. And some other people, they do many things which happen to be Vedic, but they don't have a clear understanding what's going on. So in this case, even the Brahmanas, they know Shastras. There are wives who didn't know so much about the Shastra, but actually they heard. It is said that they heard many times about Krishna and Balaram. So because they heard so many times, they were thinking, oh, Krishna and Balaram, we heard so much about Krishna and Balaram. And they were spontaneously. So it's important to hear. That's the point. It's very important to hear about Krishna, hear and talk about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also gives the example of Narottam Das Thakur, who's also very great acharya, very scholarly actually. And he wrote some simple songs in Bengali. They are very popular in Bengal, in Bengal. They are very popular in Bengal. Many simple people know this. And in these songs, he put the whole Vaishnava philosophy in a very simple way for simple people. And many of the Bengalis, they know the philosophy because they understand. They heard Narottam Das Thakur's songs. They know them, they sing them, and so on. And Srila Prabhupada says that these songs are as good as Vedic mantras. This is Shastra. Even though it's not in Sanskrit, even though it's in Bengali, even though it's in very simple language, it's Shastra. It's same as Shastra, same as what Krishna says. So the point is that hearing about Krishna, hearing and talking about Krishna is very, very important. And sometimes we become very complicated. We do so many things. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And we ignore that, okay, I have to hear something about Krishna, read something, go to some spiritual program, this and that. Of course, this class is not for, this more or less the type of class that you should give to people who are not here. You know? Because, you know, sometimes devotees make some very elaborate arrangements, you know. I have to do this, 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 and then I can chant Hare Krishna. You know, and I know I have a friend in Romania. He's a devotee, and at some point we convinced him that he has to read. So he went home and he wanted to read the Bhagavad Gita. So he had the Bhagavad Gita, and it was, I don't know, maybe it was the small edition or this one. So he said, it's too small. Too small. What to do, Prabhu? So it's too small, so he cannot read the Bhagavad Gita. So eventually he ordered this deluxe Bhagavad Gita edition, something like this. So then he was happy. Then he said, no, but now I need to have a proper light. It's true case. I'm not inventing. So now I have to have the proper light. Okay, so he had the light from proper direction. He bought something, and then he said, okay, now I have to table, chairs. So he had to arrange everything. It took some maybe 1 month for him to start reading Bhagavad Gita. And so he had the perfect chair, the perfect table, the perfect light, the perfect Bhagavad Gita edition, big, with big letters. He even had some clippers, because you open the Bhagavad Gita and you just think, and then it doesn't go back, and you can peacefully read, and then you turn the page and put the clippers again, and so on. So anyway, the point of this is that he needed a very complicated arrangement just to read Bhagavad Gita. And, we were like already joking, just sit down and read Bhagavad Gita. Just sit somewhere, open the Bhagavad Gita and read, Come on. But no, sometimes we do something like this. And with our spiritual lives, we also do like this, now I need to do this, now I need to finish school, now I need to finish this, now I need to... And some of these things are bona fide. But sometimes we make it very complicated, now I need to finish this project, like... now I have this new house, and I have to renovate it, and I don't have time to go to the temple, and then now I don't know, and then I renovate it for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, Maybe the Yamadutas will come and they say, hey, when are you gonna have time to go to the temple? So, the point is that we have to have this consciousness that hearing and chanting about Krishna is very, very important, very important. And what's also very important is to associate with the devotees. So this hearing and chanting about Krishna is important on an individual level and also on a collective level, that communities have to get together and read, hear something, discuss something about Krishna. We have to meet with the devotees, Whenever I find a new devotee, I tell him the same thing. You have to associate with the devotees. You have to associate with the devotees. And by the way, you have to associate with the devotees. And guess what? They don't do it. You have to, because this is like water, You cannot live in a spiritual life without water. This hearing and chanting about Krishna in the association of devotees is compared to the water that nourishes the devotional creeper. So without water, it's finished, All the arrangements, everything you do, if you don't put water on the root of the plant, then nothing. So, and there are so many people, so many cases where they read and chant at home. They are at home and they read and chant. Okay, they read. How long? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and they're slowly going down. So the point is that even also on a collective level, we should make an endeavor to meet with the devotees. Meet with the devotees, chant Hare Krishna, discuss about Krishna. So we need sanghas. I mean, of course, most of the devotees here, they live in the temple, or they are around the temple. But we need sanghas, we need namahatas, we need some, in every city, that devotees get together and they talk about Krishna. Because otherwise, and unfortunately, many devotees, they don't understand how important this is, you know. I met one devotee in some city. I asked him, hey, there's some devotees in this area? He said, yeah, there's some devotees in this area. Is there some Sangha? I said, no, there's no Sangha. I said, why don't you organize? Once per month, you know, what's that, you know? You organize, call some devotees from the temple if you feel that you need some proper bhajan or proper whatever talks. And you invite someone, and once a month you meet with the devotees and we chant Hare Krishna, and then your spiritual life is different, you know, because you have some nourishment. It doesn't take much, you know. They just someone needs to cook something usually. It's not bad if someone cooks, especially if it's a good cook. And then you sit down, you chant Hare Krishna. You don't need like a temple, a big arrangement. You just a room. Everyone sits somewhere, you chant some Hare Krishna and you discuss something about Krishna, you take prasadam and that's it. Very simple. So we need to convince devotees that this is very important. This is the fundamental for their spiritual life. So this Yaredeka Tarekaha Krishna Upadesha, this talking about Krishna doesn't mean just Sankirtan. It means you talk to the devotees. Let's talk about Krishna. Let's something. Usually not about Rasa Lila. According to the level, you know. Srila Prabhupada says about this in a purport in what families should do. Bhagavad Gita 13:8 till 12. He said, one need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Accept the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna, have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and engage oneself in deity worship. These 4 things will make one happy. And then he talks about family life. He said, one should train the members of this family in this way. The family members can sit down morning and evening and chant together, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If one can mold his family life in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, following these 4 principles, then there is no need to change from family life to renounced life. So that's Srila Prabhupada's vision. It's not, we can have sanghas, we can have families should sit together. And but Maharaj says, Prahladananda Maharaj says, families that chant together stay together. It's good. So this means with family, but also other devotees. So we should make some arrangements to meet and discuss about Krishna. So everyone should understand that this is a priority in my life. I should meet with the devotees. I can come to the temple. We can meet in someone's home. We should understand this is a priority, even if it's not the perfect time or not the proper circumstances. The stars didn't align properly. We know one devotee. He's making very big arrangements about how to build a spiritual community and so on. And then Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Gaura ki jai. And then you tell him, hey, how about you sit down and with what you have now, you organize a Sunday feast, Saturday feast, you invite devotees, whatever you have in this area, just invite them, chant some Hare Krishna, talk something about Krishna, and you'll see the whole thing will develop differently. You cannot build things without and forget the spiritual content. So, high thinking, spiritual thinking. So, that's the point. We shouldn't be like this yogi. There's this famous talk of the yogi. He was he wanted to meditate about Krishna. And he was sitting down and he had one pair or two pairs of copines, and he put one to dry, and the mouse stole the copines. And then he said, I need a cat. And of course he got a cat to protect his copines from the mouse. And then he had to feed the cat, and then he got a cow, and then he had to milk the cow, and then he got a wife, and then he got a big family. And all this that he can at some point sit down and chant Hare Krishna. So at some point, he, after seeing all these complicated arrangements, he said, okay, I can renounce my copines, like Maharaj says, too expensive. And I just sit down and chant Hare Krishna. And that's it, So we should do like that. We should be simple. Okay, it's nice to have very nice arrangements and so on, but with whatever you have, just sit down, read, chant, and then then everything will be better. Of course, as a note, talking about Krishna doesn't mean talking any nonsense about Krishna. Say something. There's many people who talk about Krishna, actually. Talking about Krishna means talking according to the Shastra. So we should know. Srila Prabhupada gives here the example of Narottam Das Thakur, that his simple songs in Bengali are Shastra. So we should understand that also Srila Prabhupada's books, especially the books, especially because his conversations sometimes are time, place, circumstances. Sometimes he's joking, and sometimes he says some things according to time, place, circumstances. But in the books, this is supposed to be the law books for the next 10,000 years. So this is Shastra, and everything that Srila Prabhupada says there is Shastra. It's perfect. Nowadays, sometimes devotees think that, he was not politically correct, he had some cultural background, he had this. No, everything is perfect. Because Srila Prabhupada is the empowered representative of Krishna. So we should know the Srila Prabhupada's books very well. At least, as I said, on a Madhyama Adhikari level, that at least we know what's what. That we know, this is according to Srila Prabhupada's idea, and this is not according to Srila Prabhupada's idea. At least on that level. So, so the point is, we should talk about Krishna, and we should make sure that these talks about Krishna are according to Shastra and Srila Prabhupada's instructions. And then we can see that our spiritual life, everything else will be easier. And if we just make complicated arrangements that at some point we can sit down and chant Hare Krishna, then it's gonna take some time. Because material energy it's never the right time. There's always something that should be done. It's like material energy is like renovating an apartment or a house. It's never finished. I mean, I don't know, my experience is that it's never finished. We renovated this apartment and I was hoping it will take like 2 weeks because I had to rent it and so on. So anyway, so it took 2 months. And after 2 months, I was seeing so many things which were not properly done. And after 2 months, I said, okay, it's done. But this and this and this, no, it's finished. That's it. So at some point you have to say, that's it, just sit down and read and so on. So yeah, that's the point. There are some questions, comments, concerns. Okay, so the point is that don't make put hearing or chanting as a priority. Don't put your spiritual life on hold until something happens. Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.